YouTube. My name is Nisi. This is my first video on my new channel called Simply Life. I hope you're going to enjoy. I started a new channel. I wanted a very simple name because I didn't want to pigeonhole myself into one topic, because I feel like my life has a lot of twists and turns and it's been a journey. And I really started this channel because as a black female, I'm 44. I'm single. I've been going through an IVF journey. I just realized there are channels out there, so I definitely want to say that because I have looked at tons and tons and tons of videos. But I felt like I wanted to share my journey because a lot of times when you're going through, especially like I said, the IVF journey, like I have been going through, you see a lot of couples. And unfortunately, that's just not my story to be told. Hopefully one day I will have a video and it'll be me and my boyfriend, then husband. But right now, this journey I've had to take it as a single woman. Unfortunately, there's a lot of us out there. A majority of my friends, they are around my age range, 40s, early 50s. I have more friends that do not have kids who wanted friends than my friends that have, that are fortunate enough to have a husband or a boyfriend and have children. And I think the dynamics of that in this world is just sad. I'm not gonna go on this whole single, can't find a man, I don't want to turn into one of those channels, but it's just a reality we live in. And out of my friends, I was just one that knew I wanted to be a mom. And if that meant me doing this on my own, then I had to make that decision, and that's what I decided to do. So some people may disagree with that, but that was my journey, and that's the one I've decided to take, and that's the road that I'm on. Again, I'm 44. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been here since, I'm from North Carolina, but I've been in Charlotte, oh my God, since 1993 when I went to college. I did what I thought was the path that, that we all, was probably women in my situation, we was drilled on. I went to high school, I graduated. I went to college, I got my degree, I went and got my master's, I got a job working in a financial institution. I bought my first home at 24. I just thought that along this whole path that I would run into Mr. Right. I would be at the gas station, the car wash, Walmart, and I'm just going to run into him, and then we are going to fall in love, and we're going to buy a bigger house and a picket fence and the 2.5 kids. Yeah, that dream. And then 25 turned into 28, 28 turned into 30, 30 turned into 32, 32 turned into 35, 35 turned into 40, and 40 turned into 44. And I have had relationships between now and then I did have a relationship where I lived with my ex we lived together for about 4 years. Again, as you say, my ex, and I will get into that. But, I just never thought this would be my life at 44. No one could have told me this is what it was going to be. But I have to be thankful because, I have my health. I have a home. I have a good job. I have an online business that I'm growing. So I have a lot of things to be thankful. And I'm trust and believe. I have those days where it's like, oh, I'm just not understanding. Somebody please explain this to me. You start thinking about, did I do something wrong? What did I do maybe in my college years or my high school years? Why am I not warranted to have that family? And I always knew I wanted to have a family, but I lost my dad in 2016. He was on his way to work and someone ran a stop sign and they killed him. And losing him, because I was very, very close to my dad, it hit me. It hit me like a ton of bricks. It still hits me every day. I'm going to do my best not to cry because he was just my champion, the first man I ever loved. So, I don't have a relationship with my mom. That's another story for another video. So this was the man I leaned on. I wasn't in a relationship with my ex, my now ex, but still this was my dad. So, and I was trying to get pregnant when my dad was alive, and he was on board with however I needed to happen, or what if I needed to adopt, whatever, he was on board with it. He just knew he knew I wanted to be a mom, and he wanted that for me. So, it was just a hard time in my life, and like I said, I still deal with it. Sometimes I don't know how but I know that's when I know I am Bruce King's daughter. So I just have to keep living because I know that's what he will want me to do, and also my grandmother, who played a very instrumental part in my life. So that's what I'm doing. Again, as I stated, um, I started this journey of IVF about in my 38. I was diagnosed with having endometriosis. Had never tried to get pregnant before, never been pregnant. Me and my ex, we got together. Well, we got back together because that was our second tour. We dated when I was younger, and then we rekindled. He didn't have any kids. He was the only child. I do have siblings, and I do have a twin brother who's in the Navy. He's in Japan. And so I was like, we knew we wanted to get married. Once you hit 35, I think the whole relationship rules, a lot of things change. You make adjustments for where we were in life. So I moved in with him, and if we got pregnant, we were fine with it. We were both, like I said, able to financially take care of ourselves and our family. And then, I went to go see a fertility doctor because I knew I was, again, 38. And that's when it was brought to my attention that I had, the thought that I had endometriosis. So I was scheduled to have a surgery. I went to do the pre-op 2 days for my surgery, and lo and behold, found out I was pregnant. Got that phone call. Never heard those words ever in my life. Never even took a pregnancy test in my life. But I knew something wasn't right because I knew I was cramping, and I always have had severe cramps. So I went to go see my doctor, and she just told me, they give you your HCG levels, and that showed that I was pregnant. I had to come back in 2 days for another blood work. I did that. My numbers went up slightly, but we just knew it wasn't looking good. I went in the third time, and that's when I got the news because my numbers had plateaued that I was going to miscarry. Went in another time. My level stayed at whatever, I don't think it was 150. My level stayed the same. They just plateaued. They would not go down. And so I did a DNC. My doctor didn't see anything. So I had to take methotrexate, which is something that scared me because it's a medicine that's used for cancer patient. It's pretty much like a forced abortion because I had an ectopic pregnancy. The good thing is I caught it early enough so it didn't rupture or do any damage to any tubes, but you have to do 2 injections in both butt cheeks, and you just have to let your body do what it does. And I will say for me, I had light cramping, and I guess because my cramps have always been so severe that those cramps didn't bother me. Went to work, and then my body did what it did. I didn't notice anything differently, and I had a miscarriage. Finally, my numbers went back down to a baseline. And I knew then that, hey, we're going to, with my age, we're going to have to, go to IUI. That's when, I just didn't even think twice about it. I knew I still had to have an endometriosis surgery. I did that. I think probably that was in February. I think maybe April. I still had my endometriosis surgery. And then I had to give my body time to heal. And then I was like, let's just go to IUI, which is artificial insemination for those who may know that name. Of course, using my now ex sperm. So this is kind of where the issue started. Like I said, I have to wear the fact that like I said, the doctor was like, let's try IUI. And I was like, sure, because with my endometriosis, we need to get you pregnant as soon as possible because the longer I'm off of birth control, my body, every time I have a cycle, the endometriosis is fed by my hormones and it will come back. So I was like, okay, let's get pregnant as soon as possible. And I made the mistake, and I will always wear this, that I didn't sit down and have a conversation with my ex about this journey. I just assumed this is what we needed to do. That's kind of how I am, logical, let's do it. But I never said, what are your thoughts on this? Not knowing that he was not on board. And again, that's where it started. Because he had to go do a sperm analysis, and when he went in, they asked him for blood. And I didn't know that they were going to do that because my ex is definitely afraid of needles. He hates them. You have to hold his hand. It is like a whole production when he has to get blood. And he called me upset, like all the way on 100. You didn't tell me that I had to get blood? I was like, I didn't know. He thought that I knew, and I was like, I would never set you up knowing that you are afraid of needles. I would have warned you. I would have been there. And it just, that whole conversation turned left. So by the end of the conversation, now I'm on 100 because I'm like, just give freaking blood. I didn't have to go and get all these injections in me, or I'm taking blood in my behind, and you're talking about giving that little vial of blood. And so it turned left real quick. Yeah, that was not good. So, needless to say, we did go through the IUI. We went through 4, but there was never any support there. And if you ask, well, how did he do 4 and there not be any support? He did it, and he, to this day, well, we'll talk about, we don't talk now, but as we talked once we broke up, his thing was, well, I did it because I loved you. And, you know, men look at it differently. Some men look at it differently than women. To me, I wanted you to do it because this is what you wanted, that you wanted a family. And not because this is what I wanted. Because, you know, it's like if you're not doing it from your heart. And then I felt that, and I knew he was only doing things half the time. I'm having to threaten him to go do the gift of sperm on the day of IUIs, and it was like I'm paying 99% of the IVF cost, and as we all know, it's not cheap. And for the IUIs, they were $1,500 a walk. I think he paid for one, and that's only because I got a little nasty with it, because I got just tired of him. Just, oh, I got to take time off of work, or, oh, I don't want to do this. And it just got ugly. And I was like, well, you need to spend some money. And so he did the $1,200. He had to do a little loan for $1,200. But it wasn't even about the money, because I didn't need the money. It was just the fact of, you know, by now I'm just pissed. And then I had to do, that's 4 rounds of IUIs. And then it was like, okay, we're going to go to IVF. There's no use to spending all this money. They're not working. So IVF, I did a program called the Attain Group. $18,000, no money back because of my age. I can get all the transfers, was included. Of course, I paid that. Never complained to him about playing it, never threw it up in his face. It was because we were together, and I knew at that point that we were going to be married one day. We had already been talking about it. But that IUI was not successful. I think I got 7 eggs, 5 fertilized, but none of them made it to day 5. So no embryos to have. And so $18,000 gone. Fine. Boom, spent. Hey. But things never got better at home. We kept arguing, and then that thin line between love and hate started to tip that scale for me. Because I had, at this point, lost my dad. My ex was there with me during that time, so I won't take that from him. He was in my support system. I don't know what I would have done if I had not been with him. But I knew, and again, my dad knew this journey I was going on. But I knew I wanted to be a mom because I don't have a relationship with my mom. I wanted a family. And I don't think sometimes men understand that, you know, not all men, some men, but I wanted a family. I wanted to be a mom. And I felt like we were getting to the point where he was trying to force my hand of just me and him, and let this desire to be a mom go. And that desire it was written in my heart. It was sketched in my heart. And sometimes I wish I could have let it go, but I couldn't. I couldn't even fake myself. So I knew at that time that the relationship had run its course. So I walked in one day, just said, I'm tired of being angry. I'm tired of fussing. I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm just letting you know I will be moving out in 30 days. So I gave him the respect of giving him 30 days. And after 30 days, I moved out. And my journey continued on from there. And that's how I become a single woman going on this IVF journey. I think I only have 15 minutes for the first video. So again, thanks everyone. I will continue to share and get everybody caught up to speed, probably a few times a week until we get to where I am now. So again, thank you. My name is Nisi. Please subscribe. I will learn how to do all the fancy stuff with, like I see people doing this, you know, subscribe and the notifications. Not that fancy yet, but I will be getting there. But hopefully you will come back to hear the rest of my story, and hopefully I could be a testimony to other women in my situation. And if anyone has any questions, please, please, please feel free to ask. All right, bye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of yours. Tuesday here, December 3rd. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.